But yeah, has some baritone to it. Yeah, it's for some odd reason I don't know what it is. The past couple days, I have like had like this really bad throat deal and like a really bad nasal deal, and it's I've just been coughing up a lung. Like yesterday, I was coughing all day. Today it's a little bit better. Got a little bit more sleep and got a little more energy in me, um, but yeah, just trying to get back at it. How's everybody's day going so far? How's Tuesday rocking for you? Mine is filled with awesomeness, and I got to serve a bunch of people at work because this work we're doing like an employee appreciation week. It's the first one that this company's ever done that I just started with, so making some positive changes in their workplace, and it was one of those things where whenever I thought you were my brother for a second, right? I thought it was Hart. But yeah, so it was one of those things where whenever I was sitting here looking at it, and I had just been talking about it at work and what some of the benefits are about being positive in the workplace and really bringing that positivity to whatever kind of works you're doing, whether that be in like a place of business, or maybe you're being positive at some works that you're doing like in a community, or just doing like different things that you're accomplishing for other people, where a lot of times you're going to be with a lot of different personalities, a lot of differing opinions, a lot of people from different backgrounds, uh, and not only that, just really for your own sake, like what does that even look like, right? Like what kind of things do you want to do with positivity in the workplace? Why does it even matter, right? Like, I could. You could very easly you could definitely take the stance of like, I'm gonna keep my head down and I'm not gonna do anything. But I want to make an appropriate joke, but I can't. Well, you can, but you won't because five. Yes, Jay, feel free. Go ahead. I love jokes. I'm all about them. But yeah, it's mainly just so that whenever you're looking at that, you can have the stance of, hey, I'm just gonna kind of keep my head down. I don't really want to interact with a bunch of people. I just want to come here, work my 8 to 5, and then go home. Right? That's a mentality that you can have. Plenty of people do that and get through life. But you know what, people? I'm not about just getting through life right now. Okay? I want everyone's life in here. Anybody who's watching this, whether that be on like a Twitch repeat, YouTube, whatever it is, I want you to have an awesome life. I don't want you just to be going through it. I want you to be living it. Holy Soldier coming in here. Thank you for the host, brother. And oh my goodness, holy dude. And say hi, say what's up. I'm at work here. Well, holy, dude, you just made my day, man. I'm so happy that I got to see you. We're getting ready to do one of our positivity talks. I hope everything's going well for you. And actually, I'm talking about being positive at work, so it works pretty well. Welcome back, TSG. Happy to have you, man. But yeah, that smooth talking Canadian right there coming in here. Holy Soldier, man, so good to see you. I hope the fam's doing well, and I hope everything's going well with your engagement, man, with the kids. I know that you're probably lurking and working. I definitely get that completely, because that's sometimes what I need to do whenever I'm at work. But yeah, guys, so to kind of get into this a little bit, first off, I want to say welcome to everybody that's in here, whether you're new to the channel, been following for a long time, whether this is your first time in here, or whether you're watching this on, like I was saying, like on Twitch or YouTube, or on a rerun or anything like that. I just want to say, first off, you guys are awesome for coming by here, stopping by here, and my hope with these talks are basically to help people bring positivity into their life. And there's a couple different topics that we'll be talking about as it regards to positivity. And today's topic is being positive in the workplace, or just being positive in the works that you do, whether that's, again, something that you're doing for a community or for family or for whatever it may be. We want to be positive in that nature. So, and just as a reminder, if you guys are watching this, just kind of in a past recording, you can always join us. We're here at twitch.tv/Rufio on Tuesdays. Normally at 6 p.m. Today we're doing a little bit early just because, guys, I'm excited. I'm excited about this talk, and next week, not only last week did I not get to stream on Tuesday, but actually next week I'm actually not going to be able to stream on Tuesday either. No. Give that address. Twitch.tv/Rufio. KB. Hey, by the way, KB, Thank you so much, man. Thank you for making that website. I really appreciate it. Here's something positive. I just got accepted as a Twitch affiliate. Holy, my man. Dude, I'm so happy for you. Dude, kudos to you, brother. Like, that's awesome. I'm really, really happy for you. Rufio.com, yeah. RUFIOO, like 2 O's, 3 H's.com. Just go there. You got it. But yeah, kudos to you, Holy. And thank you guys for recognizing him in there in the chat, because that's really stinking awesome. With me being a part of the Twitch affiliate, it's really helped out with Extra Life. We already have almost $600 raised between bits and subs, because everything that goes to this channel, as far as for bits or subs, so whether if you sub to me, 100% of the proceeds from that, as well as 100% of the proceeds from any bits that are cheered in here, go to Extra Life. So it's a way to be able to give back, just because I'm very, very lucky and very, very blessed to be able to say that I have a pretty decent job that pays well, and you know what, I just want to be able to give back to the community and give back to kids in need that aren't as fortunate as what I am. So, but yes, couldn't be happier for you, bro. Couldn't be happier for you. So whenever you're thinking about this, so positivity in the workplace. So to kind of start off this talk,
Itty bitty biddies for the itty bitty kiddies.
Itty bitty biddies for the itty bitty kitties. Thanks, Grunder, man. Give that bit hype. Thank you so much for the bits, man. That's going straight to Extra Life. I appreciate it so much. You're looking crispy with that badge too next to you. So yeah, guys. So one thing that I want to start off with is at work. Think about this, right? So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a frame of reference to get in there. Think of the people who you would want to be like and who do great works. So like, think about some of the high achieving people that not really that you like idolize, but people who you look up to, right? Are these people like against change? Are they easily, swayed to complain rather than like overcome challenges? Are these people negative? What do they look like, right? What does this person exude from themselves, right? Who do you want to hang out with? Is it like, oh man, like take for instance, one of my really good friends, she is really into Taylor Swift, right? Yeah, and I'm sure plenty of people are. Like, she would love to be able to go meet her and be her friend. And do you think that Taylor Swift is a negative person? Like, she's writing and venting and being positive in her life about all these different things, and working in positivity both propels your career and personal life, because, like, let's face it, people, work-life balance, like that term that people deem whenever you go to different work sites or different companies, I'm sure plenty of you have heard of this, like a work-life balance type of thing. That term, I'm like somewhat a fan of, but somewhat not, because everybody's like, oh, well, you got to have balance. Like, they're going to commingle no matter what. All right. No matter what you do, your work life is going to affect your personal life, and your personal life is going to affect your work life. They're intertwined. They are intertwined. And for some odd reason in America, we have like this, like, huge idea where we think that, oh, well, we need to go and prioritize work over life a lot of times. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit later, because I don't want to get on a rant right from the get-go, because as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about that. I'm not a fan of it. Mainly just because of my own personal struggles, and I'll go into that a little bit later, so that you guys can learn from some of my mistakes, because I don't want you all to make the same ones that I did whenever I first started off in the workplace. But so whenever you're thinking about positivity in the workplace, right? Whenever you're working, regardless if you're oh, hey,
555555 555 www.woo hashtag quack attack.
I love it, Katie. Thank you. And Studs, welcome, my man. Welcome. I love the O snap, and that's stinking awesome, man. Welcome. We're doing a little chat here. Thank you, Katie, for the bits. Those go directly to Extra Life. I appreciate it. So whenever you're in, and I like the message too. So whenever you're doing your works, or whenever you're in a workplace, or even whenever let's say that you're by yourself, right? Like you're a salesman and you're kind of alone and you kind of go out and need to do your own thing, you're still interacting with people, right? Like, this is going to be a thing. There's like, I'm sure that there are jobs out there where you don't need to interact with anybody. I have no idea what those are, simply because I haven't researched that. But let's go ahead and face it, 99.9, and I have no idea how many repeating 9% of jobs, you're going to be interacting with people, right? So teamwork is a huge aspect, and that's where positivity really shines. What up? What did you do? A thing? Hey, Studs. Hey. So think about this. So think about a time right now. So take you back, whether that be sometime this week, maybe in the past or anything like that. Don't obviously like say this person's name in chat out of respect for them, because I wouldn't want to be judged on some of my really horrible times whenever I was probably a bad teammate. But think about this. Has anyone experienced where like you have that one negative person in the group, right? Like I know that like even Dane Cook, one of his stand-ups, talks about like how this one person out of the group is like, if you don't think that you don't have that one person in the group, you're that one person. Like you're like you're that person, because if you're in there, you can think of that person who you're just like, it is a chore to get things done. It's a nightmare to listen to this person. It's just a fight, right? It breaks down trust. It makes things like what kind of things do you feel whenever you're working with this person, right? I mean, are you feeling like it's like you're happy? Are you feeling like, man, I really can't wait for tomorrow at work, right? Teams that have positive mental attitudes are more creative, okay, so they have more ideas. They came up with them faster, meaning that they come up with these ideas faster and more of them, okay? They work faster, and they have higher achieving goals. So whenever I say higher achieving goals, meaning not only they set the bar higher whenever they did this, so they had something like, oh, I bet we could do this, instead of, kind of right here. They did this, they achieved them, all of that. You have all of that simply by being positive and being happy within your workplace. And that was a study done by Harvard's Business School. So at the class that they teach, actually, happiness, Ben Tel-Shahor teaches that class, and it's a case study, and it's phenomenal. Like a significant change. So think about that. Whenever you're going through your work, that's Ruckus for me every step of the way, but he gave me cookies, so it's okay. Nice. Sorry. Solid, Grundner. Solid. He's, it's the best time because he's not here right now, so you can talk bad about him, right? We're your friends, so we talk behind your back, just out of respect. It's nice. C is for Cookie and Cookie is for me. Oh, man. I wish the Cookie Monster could make a comeback, Katie. So, I mean, but think about that, though, right? Like, KB, I'm going to use you as an example, buddy. All right. I hope you don't mind it. And the reason why I'm choosing you is because I know that you're a guy that can take being picked on. And I'm not even really going to pick on you. But I'm actually going to use you in a positive example. But like, you work in IT in Georgia, right? So whenever you're interacting with people, there are probably times where you need to vent like a frustration, like, I can't physically fix your printer whenever you're in DC. Okay, you know that you can't do that. However, if you told those people, like, hey, you're an idiot, right, instead of being positive to them, how do you think that your customer service is going to go? How do you think that all these different things are going to go, right? But instead, you explain to them the situation in a logical way, right? You work with them. You make it to where you're positive in that, and not only that, whenever you're thinking more happy, like, take for instance, maybe you just got done with an awesome stream of Minecraft, or maybe you just got done building this epic thing that you always do that I see you building. You take that positivity, and that's something that you're passionate about, and you can take it and use it in your job, because that happiness and that positivity that you got from here, again, it's intertwined. Your personal life and your work life are one. So being able to do that, think about that. It's basically an upward spiraling deal, because happiness and positivity fuel success, and success fuels happiness and positivity, right? Because whenever you're successful, you're happy. Like, it's awesome. And I'll touch on that here in just a second again, but like, kind of going back to like that negative negative deal. I walked them through logic and they call themselves idiots. See, KB? See, and now how positive is that? Because they took, and to be honest, whenever they call themselves an idiot, that takes a little bit of a, a little bit of a step back, right? That has to be some pretty humble people, some pretty, have some humility, right? Or Grunder, whenever Ruckus finally says, hey, by the way, like, I'm sorry, I messed up, here's a cookie. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, right? So yeah, so that's good on them for being able to take their responsibility. That was on our previous positivity chat the last time that we did one here a couple weeks ago. So, but negative people always end up on the negative outcome. So like, whenever conflict does arise, so KB in that example, right? Like, what kind of questions do you think that you should ask, right? Are you gonna sit there and try and figure out like, hey, I really just think that you're kind of an idiot, so I don't really want to work with you. Like, that's not what's best for the group. Or even like if you're working on a group project, right? So this is something that can be for anybody that's in school right now, right? Or going through college or high school or whatever. You have the one person who doesn't, well, just frankly, I remember doing projects and that there's always this one person that didn't ever pull their weight, right? Like they just scooted by and they didn't do crap on anything. And so, like, whenever you sit there and you look at that, do you want to choose to focus on this person that's not doing it right, or do you want to focus on the positive things that you can do, that you have talents in, that you're passionate about, that you are amazing at, and then you get the A? Like, think about that. Whenever you guys are going through projects, which one do you do? I bet most of you aren't probably the people who sit around and just do nothing and just kind of be like, hey, someone else is going to do this. Like, you're the people who are going to help out, get up, many hands make light loads. So, I don't know anyone in my life that is quicker to call themselves an idiot than Ruckus. He's too hard on himself. Really? Oh, really? Dude. Ruckus is an awesome dude. I love him to death. He needs to stop that. He needs to stop it. And that takes humility, right? And that's something to where, like, being able to focus on that, he could just sit there and be like, oh, well, I wasn't wrong, and right? But instead, he's looking at that and being like, well, okay, so I was wrong, so how can we make this into a positive? Kind of like what we were talking about a couple weeks ago. And so for now, for like work, I guarantee you, most of you that are in here, I can't speak for everybody, just because I don't know everybody on a work level, but one person that I do know on a work level is Jay. And I couldn't be more proud of how she just absolutely dominates her job. And whenever I say dominates, I mean she crushes it. Like, I don't understand how Jay can multitask the way that she can. I'll be honest, I could not do what she does. There is no way in God's green earth that I could be able to accomplish that. She is much more talented than me on multitasking and being able to stay organized. And I give her huge kudos for that. And so, like, if we were in a group and there was something that, like, needed a lot of organizational skills, like, I'm going to look to Jay and be like, hey, well, like, how can I help you? Because you're clearly better at this than I am, so let me go ahead and help you with that, right? I didn't focus on, oh, well, so, like, Leonardo back there, he's not doing his work. Like, he's over there eating pizza. Instead of doing it. So, Studs, Katie, help Studs, would you? Man needs his computer back. Be right back. I'll mow the lawn, then I'll be back. If by mow the lawn you mean fix Studs' computer, then yes, go for it. But so being in that, and sorry I kind of stuck on that one point, but just being positive in a team atmosphere is going to get the team further. It's going to get you further. And it's just it's going to help out everybody in the long run. And so some of the things, like some of the statistics that are in here. So think about this. Here's a fun fact. Something that kind of blew my mind whenever I looked at it. So according to, there's a book that I've referenced a couple times, but Sean Aker wrote The Happiness Advantage. And so people who have positive thoughts and are just happier at work are 30% more productive. 30%. Let me go ahead and give you a frame of reference, right? Like, what does that even look like? So in a work year, there is a little over 2,000 work hours, right? Okay, you can even do the math if you want to. 52 weeks times, do that. So basically, there's 2,080 if you really want to know the exact hour. But there's a little over 2,000 hours. Okay, 30% of that. 30% is 600 hours. 600 hours. You can get 600 more hours worth of work done by being positive and happy. What could you do with that? Like what could you do with that in a year, right? In a year. That's over, what is that? So that's basically like 15 weeks worth of, like 15 extra work weeks in a year. Like that's nuts. That is nuts. Okay, that is crazy. So whenever you look at that, you could have more free time, you could have more personal time, you can do things faster, easier, and you're going to be able to make a bigger positive impact on your life and the people around you. And so like take for instance, there was another one that, to kind of talk about work, and a lot of people are wanting to say like, oh well, they focus on what they don't have, or they focus on, oh, I should have gotten this, or I should have gotten X or Y and Z. Like, a lot of people are so focused on either the title or the destination, they don't realize that the big thing that they need to focus on is what they're doing. Like, if you focus on what you're doing as opposed to being like, well, if I only had the management position, things would be more awesome. Or if I only had this thing, right? Like, as soon as you insert that thing and as soon as you achieve that thing, your happiness was tied to that to begin with, right? And you have like this short little brief moment, which you should celebrate successes. But if you were on there, there's always that mentality of like, I need something else. I need something else, right? So don't look at that. Like, look at the process of what you're doing. So like, take for instance, in Fortune magazine, there's an article that I read about how if you smile to 5 people a day, okay, even if you're faking it, right? They even said that even if you forced a smile, you will ultimately get you promoted faster and more likely to get a raise than versus your what was it, the appearingly negative counterparts. So people who just appear to be like more standoffish and not, kind of in their own zone. You made me realize I work at a minimum 2,600. Oh, Shadow, I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah. And you know what, to be honest, Shadow, I feel you, brother. Right? I was just using that on an average on a 40-hour a week job, which I know right now, and trust me, I'm going to go off on a tangent probably a little bit later about America and like some of the hours that you work, but yeah, so whenever you look at that, you can accomplish more throughout your career. You are more likely to help others, and you are more likely to make this world a better place because whenever you focus on others, you have an intrinsic value, right? You have your intrinsic value increases. So you think of yourself in a more positive light, and you're more positive, in your everyday life. And how much can you do with that, right? Like, that's stinking awesome. Like, people, so people who focus on problem solving and being positive also, so like you have like this intrinsic value, right? Like you're a positive person. You're going out there and you're selling something, right? Like almost all the time you're trying to sell someone on something, right? Whether you're selling them an actual good, like as in a salesman, whether you're selling them your personality, whether you're selling them on your ability, right? Like you're out there doing something. People only work 40 hours a week must feel good. Yeah, studs. Whenever we can find that, like let's all go and just apply at the same place so we can find a 40-hour a week job. So whenever you look at that, people who focus on that will sell over 23% more, okay, than their negative counterparts. So like, whenever you think about that, whenever you're trying to like in job interviews, in being able to be picked for a project, whenever you're actually selling things, so if you're a salesman, being upbeat and positive, you automatically are going into this with a higher rate of success. So if you're trying to be able to get something that you want or you don't have and you think that you need, I mean, be positive about it. Like do that. You're already going in. It's like an extra tool. It's like an extra arrow in your quiver. Like if you go in there and you're trying to be able to explain to somebody why they should do something, like if you're positive, they're gonna feel that. I mean, everybody in here has been in that situation where you're talking with somebody and you're just like, yeah, Yep. And so you just sit there and you kind of like turn your head because, you know, like metaphorically, you're obviously trying to be able to look at them, but you could be looking over here, you know, whatever it is, because you're not interested in it, because you can like feel their anger or like their, you know, they're getting all worked up. So being positive will have someone be more engaged. They're going to listen to you more. They're going to feel that why of what you're doing, of what you're there to be able to talk to them about. And that's so crucial. That is so crucial in being able to be able to convince people and to be able to let them know like these great things. Like whenever you hear someone that's passionate, and I'm going to use, you know what, I'm going to, KB, since I picked on you once, I'm going to give you a little bit bigger of a kudos here, since I did that to begin with. But like, KB is an awesome dude. He wants to make a positive impact on the world, right? Before he even joined Extra Life, he was doing another charity event before like joining the Extra Life stream team and everything else. And yeah, what, Jay? I know. So like, but whenever you think about it, like whenever he talks about it, like whether it's in Jay's chat or doing different things on the Extra Life channel or modding or anything like that, like he's positive about it, right? He's like, well, like he put it really well, and I really like the saying that he did on one of the Extra Life streams that we were on together that I was lucky enough to learn some. Look who showed up, right, studs? You know, lucky enough to be able to stream with him and Jay and Budacat and you know, on Minecraft and teach me some things. He said that I hope for a time where Extra Life isn't needed, simply because you know there's no need for a Children's Miracle Network hospital. You know, need like it's just there's no need for it, because kids are healthy. They you know, they're being taken care of, like everything's going well. Now, unfortunately, we don't live in that world, right? You have to face reality, but like that positivity whenever he talks about it, and that you can tell that he's passionate about it, and that he's just wanting to be able to do something good for it, like that sells people. Like that gets people involved, that gets people excited, that gets people jacked about being able to get in there. And I know that's the same way with a lot of people in there. Like studs, I know that you're in there and you do the same thing, man. Like anytime that I come into your stream, you're so generous with your time, and you talk about Extra Life, and you always talk it up. Oh, amen, brother. Hey, thanks, man. Yes, and KB is positive. I know, Jay. What I would say is like that. You know that whenever people describe people as like that hard chocolate with like a nougaty center, he's like that guy. He's a good hype man. I'll give him that. Now that is true. You cannot take that away from him. That's the truth. But yeah, like with studs, and I mean, and a lot of people that are in here as well, like, you know, whenever they're doing that, it's just it's awesome. Akisora, like your arts, thank you, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Thank you. Yeah, glad that you're here. Hey, thank you for the follow, Akisora. Thank you very much, and welcome to the stream. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself here in a minute, but kind of want to talk more about, you know, just this positivity talk that I'm doing. Heart, what's going on? But thank you. Yeah. So, let me ask you guys this real quick, right? Let me just ask you this one question. So everybody's take a moment to ponder this. You can put it in the chat if you want, but for everybody who's in a job or who has had a job or is even in school or whatever it is, like if you were to leave that job or school or community project or whatever it is, what would you miss the most? Okay. Like what would you miss the most if you were to leave there? Would it be the stuff? Would it be the perks? Maybe the pay? Like what would you miss the most? Jay says donuts, which, I mean, I get that, right? Friday donuts are a real thing. Right? The people, see? If I were to leave my job, I'd miss being appreciated. Yeah, like the power. I do love it. So Grundner up here. Nah, people shout out. Yeah, see, and you know, it's one of those things where most people, Where are my donuts? Yeah, good job, Jay. You brought up the discussion of donuts, and now everybody must have them. So whenever you think about that, most people, right? Whenever you look at that, there was a study done, and I don't want to misquote the percentage because I had it written down, and apparently it didn't transfer onto my little sheet. So I don't want to misquote it because like statistics are already like kind of a deal. So I don't want to misspeak, but I can tell you that the majority of people, whenever they were asked if they were to leave their job, what's the thing they would miss the most? It's the people. Okay. All the flexibility to hang out with my little dude. Yeah. See, heart, like what that right there is the connection and the positivity to another human being, right? Like it's that connection, right? And the people who you're gonna miss the most, why? Why would you miss them? Right? Why would you miss them? It's because they are awesome people, right? Like Akisora, welcome, man. I'm glad that you know Studs and that you're over here, and I'm really glad that you joined the community. Welcome, and take for instance, right? I want to get to know you. I want to hear about your story, and I want this to be a place where people, right, who just joined, just like you just did, are known and needed here, right? Like we're all sitting here, we know that Studs is about ready to have a baby. Heart just had another baby. Studs brought you in. Well, thank you, Studs. I really appreciate that, man. It's stinking awesome. Oh, and Camo, hi, how are you, buddy? Glad to see you. Welcome. And so whenever you think about that, those are the things that you're gonna miss. Right? Whatever. Take for instance, Akisora. So you knew Studs before you came over here. Okay. If he were to not stream for a month, right? You might be sitting there being like, man, I kind of miss that interaction, right? That's probably a thing. That is probably a thing. I don't know your guys' relationship. I'm kind of assuming, so I hope you don't mind me using you as an example and basically making your relationship what I need it to be to fit this talk. But you get what I'm saying? Like for me, I know for me, and talking about my own personal experience, I miss you guys whenever I stream. And I know that sounds odd, but I do. I miss the interaction. I miss the fun things that we get to do. And I miss the excitement that we get to build. And whenever we broke $1,000 raised for Extra Life on my birthday stream, whenever we, on May the 4th, we had such an amazing outpouring of support. And this past Friday, whenever my sub button went live for the first time, and that's going to be used because all the subs go to Extra Life, all of those things, all of those exciting times, those wouldn't have been fun if it weren't with all of you. There is no way that I would have had any fun. And my hope is that while you all are here, you have fun too with everybody that's in here and with me. And so that's why being positive to other people and having those people there is what's most important, because if we were all here going and just saying rah, 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 super negative and super whatever, that's not you wouldn't miss that, right? Think about it. We even have a term for people like that whenever they come to streams, and it's called trolls. We actually make fun of them. We give them a term that is not endearing in the least. And so, there are two things that I would leave my job in a heartbeat for. Well, I get that. I get that sometimes people aren't always fond of their job, and that's going something deeper. But I bet you would still miss some people there, Jay, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people would never leave their job, and everything like that, because trust me, if someone all of a sudden came up to me and was like, hey, I'd love for you to stream full time for the exact same amount of money that you're doing. I love my job. I love it. And it goes further than that. Nice. I really do enjoy it. But I would love to be able to stream full time and play video games and hang out with people, hang out with you all. I want to know, take for instance, Camo, you just came in here, buddy. I want to know how everything's going on in your life. I want to know how, your different schools, your different school decisions are going and everything else. And, being able to just, get to hang out with you guys. That would be awesome. But I would seriously miss a lot of the people that are at my job right now, right? Like, I'd still miss them, and I'd still hang out with them. I still do that with some of the people, like, take, for instance, you, Jay. I used to work with you, and I love hanging out with you. So, wait, I'm a dirty pirate. Studs. Yeah, nice, buddy. So that's just a little bit about, like, the whys and a little bit about it. So and again, we always like to end the talk with like some different hows, right? Because I give you these conceptual things and talking about why they're good and some different examples of what could be better and what you can take from it. And so what's the how? Like, how do I be more positive? And for this topic, how do I be more positive in the workplace? So first one, never underestimate the power of visualization. Okay? You'd be surprised how often, if you imagine and believe, it happens. I always make Rufio lose his train of thought, so you just did it again, studs. So, like, whenever you go into work, okay, whether you have a drive to work that's short, long, whatever it may be, if you want to do it while you're driving, that's fine. Just don't get in a car wreck and don't. You know what? Actually, just don't, because then then you can come back and sue me and say that Rufio told me to days off while I'm driving. Before you go into work, okay, you're parked, you're in your car. Before you go to school, you sit down, visualize what you want your day to be. Okay, the first 10 minutes of each day that I come in here, and it like just in thinking about what you want from the day and achieving that. Heart with the sub, my buddy, dude. Thank you so much for that sub. That one right there is a sub for the kids. Thank you, man. You are a true hero, and heroes deserve awesome stuff. So now enjoy that crispy star right next to your name, because you have followed the second star to the right straight on till morning, my man. And just know that that sub is for a good cause, because 100% of the proceeds that come from that go towards Extra Life and Kids in Need. So thank you, my dude. I couldn't be more happy about that. Some sub hype. I love it. And also, streaming has been the only thing that lost my job, my girlfriend, Carl, in one sweep. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, Sora. Father almost dying from a heart attack. Ooh. I'm off the brink of severe depression. Well, Sora, you know, driving while stream is going now. Oh, nice, Shadow. I'll try not to scare you. Well, man, I'm really sorry to hear that, Sora. Like, that's being able to go through those type of challenges. It's never easy. It's something that I know this doesn't help now, but one, like, you're being able to do that. Like, keep streaming, man. Like, if that's something that keeps you from being on the brink of that, like, do that. No way! Studs! Dude! Holy crap! Guys, I want you to know that with those two right now, we're at 9 subs. Holy moly. Dude, Studs, thank you so much for that sub, man. Like, thank you so much. Like, you are a true hero, man, and true heroes deserve awesome stuff, brother, and you are one of them. Thank you so much for making a difference in kids' lives, and I don't have emotes yet, but I will. They're being worked on right now. I just actually watched the person who I commissioned them out. She started them yesterday on her stream. So, but yeah, Sora, to get back to you, man, dude, I'm just so appreciative. Thank you guys so much. That's awesome. So like, this doesn't help now, because whenever you're going through it, it's tough, it's rough, it's not fun. But just know, one, like, whenever you come out of this, whenever you go through a fire, you like, imagine yourself made out of clay, right? Like, whenever you're being molded and going through these tough situations in life, whenever you go through fire, you're just getting stronger, right? Have a mentality of that. Like picture that. Like what I literally just talked about. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that I literally just talked about the power of visualization. And the thing that you can do is think about that, right? Like, visualize yourself as, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Terracotta Army. It's a huge thing. It's really amazing. And like, it's basically something that people can't really explain, because who the heck has all these clay warriors? But the reason why they used it was because clay was the toughest thing. And whenever they did that, they talked about how they were trained and they went through battle because they went through fire and they came out stronger on the other side. That's what you're going, like, with the things that have been going on with you, I am like honestly, man, I'll pray for you tonight, like without a doubt. And I just hashtag subtrain, right, studs, and like I am so sorry that stuff has to happen, but just keep in mind that whenever you're going through this, keep streaming, keep being level-minded, and keep being positive that at the end you're going to look back and say, like, I went through this and I'm stronger for it. And there may even be a time where you have no idea. Like, I remember there was something that happened with me, and I lost, so I was raised by a single mom, and I lost a father figure in my life whenever I was in college, and I didn't take it so well. And then I literally had a kid who I was mentoring from the Big Brothers Big Sisters project that I got to talk to because he went through the exact same thing. And like we had the exact same feelings throughout everything, and I got to help him through that. And I know that I'm not trying to say like all of a sudden this is magically gonna happen to you or anything like that, but just I want you to know that your feelings are validated with what you're going through, and that like you're gonna come out of this and be able to have that opportunity. Like, we have no idea why these things happen. Like you're never gonna know the why, but I can tell you, man, you're gonna be boss once you come out of this. All right, like. You got this, brother. You got this. You got this. You got it. Another deal of like how with this is focus on positive things you've done and maximize strengths, right? So at work, focus on positive things you've done and maximize strengths. So use passions and positive strengths towards initiatives. Now, I'm not saying that like every single person here is like absolutely built, like they're not like a LeBron James of basketball, where like he's built for the game, right? Like the dude is a freak of nature, and you don't have to be like if your passion is streaming, or if your passion is video games, or if your passion is insert whatever it is, you can take whatever it is about your passion and use it in your job. And as long as you maximize what your strengths are, like for me, my strengths are I am a high achiever, right? I have this thing ingrained in my brain that if something isn't done, then I have to get it done. Like it has to be done. And like literally if I'm not getting the answers that I need, I will figure it out, right? Like that will happen. And so being able to use that, like whenever I developed that through video games, I'll be honest, that's kind of how I think I developed it, because I never would stop with a video game until I 100% completed it. Like I couldn't do it. And so like constantly trying to be able to do that, like I use that and maximize my strength in work. Or like one of my other strengths is I'm an includer, right? I love to be around people and have commonalities and have people that are together in a community and just supporting one another. And so whenever I have that, I know that I want to bring people in. So like whenever I try and think of like being able to get teamwork going, like I need to use that strength whenever I use it in soccer, because I played soccer a lot. I played soccer in college, and just being able to bring that. So like, yeah, man, like just focus on positive things you've done and maximize your strengths on what you have in your passion, and then just transfer that to your job. Like, I know that you're not going to be like skipping to the freaking copier machine, right? Like nobody just enjoys making copies, but like if you're like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to go have fun and I like to whistle, right? Or like, I just heard a really awesome song. Whistle the song while you go to the copier. Like, why not, right? I'm sorry, I have no idea what it is, but I've been stuck on a Bruno Mars song and it has been infiltrating my brain for like the past like 2 weeks. I can't get it out. And so like I'm just sitting here singing it because, baby girl, what's happening? I can't stop it. Another one that's in there, breaks. Well, actually, Akizora, sorry, you just put that in there. Left and right, just to remain motivated. It's because I meet people like yourself and have people like studs in my life, because I want to be that person who has such a crazy life so I can be proud of everything in the end. Oh, well, one, thank you for the compliment, Sora. Thank you so much. And yeah, definitely give a huge shout out to Studs. He's an awesome dude. No, thank you, buddy. Take my hand and skip to the 4th floor printer with me, right, Grundner? I can just see you like either whistling or singing one of those songs that was just in Shadows. That was in Shadow Stream today. Oh man, whistle while you work. Yes, studs. I love the change in the name. I love it. So another one that's in there is breaks, guys. They allow you 15-minute breaks for a normal work day. Use them. I know that people are like, oh, I don't have time for a break. No, you are wrong. I have science to prove it. If you do not take breaks, you are less efficient, you are less happy, and you will accomplish less in your work career. Take them. Just don't question that, okay? Whenever you take your breaks, do something that's like for a reason, okay? Take 15 minutes to read a book. Take 15 minutes to walk around. Get up every single hour and walk around for a minute. I don't know what you're into. Like, just do something that you're passionate about and that you enjoy doing. And so like just do something that gets you excited, because even just by doing that, like sometimes whenever I have like a 15 minutes, like I'm just like sitting here, I'm stressed out about something, you know what I'll do? I'll watch a YouTube video. Sometimes I'll go to KB's, sometimes I'll go to Buddha sometimes I'll go to like just different people, DPD's YouTube, and just sit there and watch like a video or two. And even though that it's something that like has no relation to what I'm doing at work, it clears my mind and it gets me excited, and I'm just like, okay, I've removed myself from the situation. Now I'm kind of in a better place. And as soon as I look at it, I get the thing done immediately. Like it's just there. So just, that's the way that you need to do it. Yeah, you can go to allthewayj.com for all your wayj.com needs. People in my community are struggling as well, so if I can be the beacon of positivity, then I feel like I've done some good. That's right, Sora. Be that light on the hill, man. Be the light on the hill. Yeah, that's awesome. I work for 15 minutes every few hours, and Grunner says this guy gets it. There you go, right? It's the thing that you need to do. I take an 8-hour break and work for an hour. Sometimes you think about what you're struggling with when you aren't thinking about it, right? Like, yeah, it's just, yeah, taking those breaks, it's huge. And finally, here's where my rant goes, although I've kind of ranted a little bit already here for a little while. And then we'll get to some gameplay. We're actually going to be playing a pretty a tough one here today after the positivity talk. But the last thing I want to say to you guys, okay, here's something that's probably going to, like, I don't know, you may argue with it, you may not. I don't know. It's open for discussion in chat, okay? This is why I wanted to ask this question here at the end, okay? Happiness doesn't only come from work. Success does not mean happiness, okay? Happiness is both the precursor to success and the result of it, okay? In fact, like, researchers have often noticed that a compounding effect or an upward spiral, like I was talking about earlier, that occurs with happy people. They're happy, so they develop new skills. These skills lead to success, which results in more happiness, and the process just basically repeats itself. It just is completely up, like, it keeps on going up. Shadow!
Happiness is biddies for kiddies.
That's biddies for kiddies! Thank you so much for the biddies, brother. It all depends on how you define success. A lot of people, technically, yes, you're right, KB. You could technically say success is happiness, right? A lot of people look at work. So this isn't a framework. Sorry, I should have said this in the context of work, right? Like, you're successful just at work, right? Happiness doesn't only come from work. Success doesn't mean happiness. So success in work. I said Sussex. Success in work doesn't mean happiness. Like, it doesn't have to. So, amen and amen and amen to that. Thank you, Katie. Thank you. Money can't buy happiness, right? Like, a lot of those things. Biddies buy me happiness. So, like, I mean, us as Americans and in our Western culture, we've just put a lot of focus on work. And while it can be healthy most of the time, there are plenty of times where we put so much weight on it that it starts tilting that scale, right? Like like you start looking at that as that's your end all goal, right? Like once you can think about this in almost every context whenever someone talks about like how they became successful, and like even sometimes whenever you look at how people talk to their kids, right? Like you have to do You have to do this to do this. You have to do this to do this. You have to do this to do this. If we're always changing the finish line, if you're always looking at towards the next thing, you may be driven, but you're never going to be happy. Okay? Like you're going to have moments in the sun followed by decades in the shade, right? And I know that right now probably you're all thinking like of that quote from 300 like, "Well, we'll fight in the shade." But but like work success, like work success, that's something that will come and go. You can get that in a lot of different areas. People think that you need to do one specific thing for that, and that's not the case. Okay, let me be very clear on that, because that's something to where I think that, and again, this is my thought, right? Because one of like the 5 pillars of well-being is like your purpose, right? And a lot of people say that your purpose is work. Like, how sad is that whenever they made up the 5 pillars of wellness for like worldwide of what you're, of like, if you're thriving in these 5 pillars, as an individual, you're gotta be more engaged, and all these different things at work. Like it's basically like all the statistics of why I have a job. And one of the things that they put on there was in one little column in one of the 5 is purpose, and in parentheses they put career in there. And like, while career kind of fits in there, your purpose may not be what you're working on, right? Your purpose may not even be work in the most common sense. Like you can achieve quick happiness by doing work, and you can have success in work. And I think that that's important, because if you just sit around and like, oh, well, work's not really important, I'm not going to get any type of happiness from it. Like, one, you're going to have to pay bills. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the way of the world. But what you can do is, if you're positive in there, if you're positive about work and take the things like these principles about visualization, focusing on positive things, doing breaks, being that awesome person at work, you can be successful at it. You're not having that define your success. You're having your happiness and your positivity define your success. Does that make sense? Like the works that you will do are the byproduct of that. They're not the cause. Like they're like your awesome things that you will do will come because of that, right? And then whenever you do that, you accomplish it, and then you do it again. Then you have more. Then you have more. Then you have more. Then you have more, and it just keeps going up. So, happiness is a product of success. It's very temporary. Great quote. Yeah, we were raised in this country to believe that money equals success, but it doesn't. I read an article about how someone just wants a mediocre life, and that's like me. I don't need a ton of money. I want to support my family and retire happy. So like, studs. So like, one, I hope that you don't think that your life's mediocre. Okay, let me go ahead and just address that, because your life's not, right? You have a wife. You're bringing a child in this world. You're bringing a miracle in here, and that child, you have no idea what that child's gonna do. And not only that, think about all the positive things that you've done in your life already. Like, think about that. Like, you're not leading a mediocre life at all. Like, by any stretch of the imagination, man. So I hope that that's not the case, man. Like, I don't mean to like call you out on that, but I just want you to know that your life has extreme value, like way more than mediocrity. And so, now, not needing a ton of money, like kind of like what you were saying, I think, and I think that this is where you're going with it. I just wanted to address that point to begin with. But like, not having a ton of money, some people might think of that as like a mediocre career, like a mediocre, life, right? Like, if you don't make a whole lot of money, like, no, that's stupid. Like, if you make enough to where you need to get by, I don't need anything huge or grand. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Just the chat kind of goes a little bit slower than what, whenever I'm going through it, but yeah, man. So yeah, so sorry to kind of like make this one into like a much longer talk, but yeah, guys, that's a little bit about positivity at work. So again, some things that you can do: power of visualization. So, be thinking about it whenever you get to work. Focus on positive things you've done and maximize strengths. So be sure to focus on things that you are great at, right? Like, and maximize those while you're at work. Breaks, use them, or be like KB and work 15 minutes every couple hours. So hashtag we all aspire to be KB. So and then finally, like, just realize that while you're at work, like, take it seriously, but don't take it as it's the end all be all. Okay, it's a part of life. It's something that is important, but just realize, guys, that in this day and age, you can make a really, really positive impact and have a really awesome life without having to focus primarily just on work, right? You can live a pretty awesome life. So that's Positivity Tuesday, people. That's right. We're coming in here strong. We had I felt like we had some great conversations. Thank you for adding into that, guys. And thank you for the not only just contributing with quotes, with jokes, with biddies, with great points that you brought up, and clarifications, and everything. I really appreciate you guys being here for these, because it is something that I really want to give positivity to people. Unfortunately, like, gaming has gotten a kind of a bad rap in the press, and I want to be the change that I want to see in the world. So, but yeah, I think you hold yourself at contentment for a reasonable position in life. Then, as long as you're happy with where you're at, that's all that matters. Yeah, a lot of times gratitude comes into a pretty big portion right there, right, Sora? Like, being grateful of what you have rather than envious of what you don't. For me, if I didn't need money, when we labels on things, but when you start to compare stuff, you need to pick certain words. Yeah. Yeah, right. I have to move the mouse so the computer goes to sleep, KB. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That is hilarious. Oh my God.